My friends are my power. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Guess who's back again, Cameron's back. Everybody run. Welcome back to Nerd Explosion, the weekly podcast where based on a monthly theme, we nerd out, but whatever we want. My name is Cameron, and I am by myself today. Kate is gone for the weekend, or most of the weekend. She is in Wisconsin. She's at Wisconsin Dells with a bunch of other girls for a bachelorette party. Because what her coworker Alana is getting married in August, and they're doing the bachelor party now, or bachelorette party now, which I suppose makes sense. Get that done a couple months in advance so you can focus on other stuff. But yeah, she's gone for most of the weekend, and I'm here by myself. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick episode, just kind of explain why there wasn't an episode last week, and just kind of what's been going on and stuff, and just kind of share a little bit of life with you guys. I'm not gonna go into the new episodes every Saturday, but since I brought it up, I'm gonna try to get back into a normal schedule of stuff, like back to the normal swing of things. I will explain why I kind of fell off for like a week. But normally I do these Saturdays, so if you want to keep up to date with everything, link in the description to all my socials. But with that, let's get into things. So, the reason I didn't post anything last week, I have been in a very bad depression slump lately. I have barely been sleeping, or even if I have been sleeping, I've been waking up way too early. I haven't been sleeping enough, basically, because usually I get about 6-7 hours of sleep. I will fall asleep at like midnight and wake up at 4:30. Most of that's because my youngest cat Mochi is a little furry asshole and likes to fuck with stuff. I guarantee it's because he hears me waking up at 4:30, or he hears me stirring and he's like, "Ooh, time to fuck shit up." But no, I haven't been sleeping that well. In fact, after I record this, I'm probably just going to edit quick and then go straight to bed. It's 9:30 at night, which is, like, if I go to bed now, that's very early for me, because I usually go to bed at, like, I try to go to bed at, like, 11 o'clock at the latest, because I try to get, my 7-8 hours or whatever. But, yeah, last week I was just in a little bit of a depression slump. And this past week did not help matters much, because our oldest cat, Dorian, who we also refer to as Bean, he got really bad, like really sick. We found out he had hyperthyroidism a while ago, and we had him on medication for that, and it seemed to kind of work. Like his wheezing when he was breathing was getting a little better, but he was still like barely eating and stuff, and he hasn't shown any improvement on stuff. And any animal vet will tell you that hyperthyroidism usually is a mask for like kidney disease, and there's no way to treat that. There's no medication for that. This past Monday while I was at work, Kate called me and said that he's doing really bad. Like he can't poop, and he's not too bad. Like he is like literally bones, like skin and bones. So we took him in, and ultimately we decided that instead of having him, suffer like this, it would be easier on him if we put him down. And it was a hard decision to make. Like, trust me, if I could keep Dorian alive for like the rest of eternity, I would have. But I know that's not fair to him, and that's not fair to the life, basically. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the metaphor I chose to go with. But no, we took him to this like emergency place because the pet clinic we usually took him to wanted to schedule something, and I'm like, no, he needs to go in like now. So there's a place actually closer to where we live now, our new place now, that we took him to, and cannot thank them enough for how they handled the situation, because they were very gentle, because they knew it was a sensitive thing, and they gave us all the time we needed to, say goodbye to him and everything. Like, they brought him in, they looked at him, and then when we decided to put him down, they went in, brought him in, and, he held him, and, Kate cried, and then I cried, and when we were ready, we told him, like, it's time, so the nurse came in and did the injection, and, he went very peacefully, which, I'm just glad his final moments were us loving him, and I pray, he's somewhere on the Rainbow Bridge, knowing how much he was loved. I'm actually going to start tearing up now thinking about it. But, oh God, I'm getting emotional. But we decided with him that we are gonna get his ashes. Like, we put out an urn and we're gonna get his ashes, and they're also gonna give us a clay paw print. It's like a little clay disc thing with the paw print and I think your pet's name or whatever. So that should be coming, and that was on Monday of this past week. It's currently Friday when I'm recording this, so we should be getting something from them within the next few days or so, because they said it would take about a week. So at least we're gonna have something to remember him by. And Mochi, he was very confused at first, but. And I tried to explain it to him, because, I tried talking to Mochi and telling him, like, hey, this happened to your brother. And, I mean, he's a cat, so I don't know if he's going to understand me, but I think he's starting to understand. And I don't know if, I'm just glad Mochi's hanging in there. And, I pray Mochi, took some good boy lessons from Dorian. And if you have any cats up there, on the Rainbow Bridge, Dorian's gonna come join your party. And Sam and Trisha, if you're listening to this, I told Dorian in his final moments, when you get up there, you better give Smokey some good paps, some fresh paps. For those that don't know, actually, I don't know what I'm saying. To explain that, Smokey was Sam and Trisha's cat that passed a while ago, and now Dorian's up there, keeping him company, / probably chasing him around, giving him some fresh skibbity paps. But yeah, that didn't help, depression much this past week. So with everything going on, I just, did not want to do anything. Like, I would come home from work and just sit. And the unfortunate thing is, I would get irritated when Kate asked me to do something, not because she's asking me to do something, but because it's just like the depression thing. Like, my brain wants me to just sit and rot and be sad. And when suddenly somebody tries to snap me out of that, I'm just like, what's happening? I don't like it. That whole thing. But anyway, without explaining, rattling on too much, that's kind of what happened this past week. Also, life in general just kind of sucks. But actually, speaking of stuff that sucks, and that's kind of it for my life, but I just kind of want to end this by talking about some stuff that, is kind of going on in the world that I think kind of sucks. Switching gears from that, did y'all see the thing about the Nintendo Switch 2? Now, I don't know if the sources are correct on this, but I keep hearing this all over the internet. Apparently, in the user agreement for the Switch 2, they have a thing in it where if, you plug something in or you do something to the Switch that affects, the voltage going through it, or, the hardware, the software, or, anything like that, Nintendo can just kill your console. Dead. And I don't know if any of that's true, but if it is, then I'm just I'm looking at this thing, the Switch 2 is the most anti-consumer thing out there. They got greedy, and they're it's a $600 slight upgrade to the original Switch. I saw a video of this, that the Switch 2 is basically gonna end up like the Wii U did. Because when you think about it, when the Wii came out, it was a time where people were like really into it and flocked to it, and it became one of the most successful video game consoles of all time. And then when Nintendo came out with the Wii U, all they did was try to, you know, kind of piggyback off the Wii, but it was at a very bad time when like everybody was having financial problems. So like when the Nintendo Wii came out, a lot of people were really financially stable, and a lot of people could afford Wiis at the time, and they sold like millions and millions of copies of that. But when the Wii U came out, everybody was financially struggling, so it just came out at a really bad time, and I think that's why it did poorly. A lot of people want to say like, oh, well, the game sucked for it. I'm like, nah, there were some good games for it. It's just the fact that like it came out at a really bad time, like in the world financially. It's so weird that I switched tactics from, you know, my dead cat to video games, but this is kind of a thing. I just kind of wanted to ramble and, you know, get an episode out there and let you guys know what's going on. Obviously there's political stuff going on, but that's not the type of podcast I want to do. Like, I don't want to get into politics. Like, I mean, I know my stance and everything, but I just, you know, that's not the type of podcast I want to do. Even though, you know, one guy, it's basically two guys running around just being like, you know, you got a orange Cheeto running around yelling at a fucking hairpiece toting beer belly spaceman. That's the best way I could describe it. God, I don't know what more to say. You know, that's kind of what's been going on. I do promise to try to get back into normal episodes. I do want to say before I close out this month, obviously with it being June, it's Pride Month. I want to say happy Pride Month to all my girls, gays, and theys, my guys, girls, gays, and theys. I know there's a lot of big things with like Pride Month out there. I know Target has been a topic of conversation because they, especially in Minnesota, because Twin Cities kind of the city Minneapolis, like the Twin Cities Pride, pulled themselves out of Target basically, or they canceled their sponsorship deal with Target, which was so the thing with that is that I guess Target was a big financial thing for them when Pride came around, but as soon as Target was just like, oh, we're gonna roll back DEI stuff, Twin Cities Pride was just like, all right, well, fuck you, we're dropping you as a sponsor. Which, you know, good on them for their morals, but sucked for them financially. But luckily, they started like a Kickstarter or something. Like they needed to raise like $50,000, and they did that within like 24 hours. But no, the whole thing with Pride, I saw recently that I guess Target is still doing a Pride collection, but they just didn't give a shit when releasing stuff. Like their tags are just like lorem ipsum, which, for those of you who don't know, lorem ipsum is just sentences that are just complete gibberish. Like, they did not care when they put out their Pride collection. They're just like, you know, the gays will buy this up. It's just, it sucks. Like, if you're going to buy Pride merch, buy from somebody who's, you know, morally, you know, on the side and not just in it for the money. And they're in it because they want to actually, like, either, you know, sell to people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, or if they, you know, they donate the proceeds to people in the queer community that need help. And the other thing I want to say with Pride Month is fuck what anybody tells you, okay? If you're trans, be proud to be trans. If you're gay, be proud to be gay. Whatever you are, whatever you identify as, he, she, they, gay, bi, fucking yellow, blue, anything. Like, be yourself. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot coming from some just random guy on the internet, but honestly, for Pride Month, it's like, you know, be proud of who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you identify as, no matter who you love. Just be proud of who you are. And if anybody comes up to you and says that your lifestyle is wrong, punch them in the face. Look at me promoting violence on this podcast. No, but literally, fuck what anybody else has to say. Because if you are happy with the way you live your life, why does it matter to them? Because what these people need to understand, these homophobes, these transphobes, just anybody that's against it, why does it matter to you how somebody else lives their life? Like, why, like, literally, somebody else is gay, somebody else is trans. Why does that fucking matter to you? Let people live their lives. Mind your own damn business. That's, like, how hard is that? I know in a perfect world, everybody would, but unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. So, to anybody out there who has problems with gay people, just literally mind your own business. For those of you who are dealing with people that are like that, just, go keep living your life. Because you simply existing and you, like, living your life happily is the biggest fuck you to them you can give them. Just live your life as happy as it can be, and that'll be the biggest fuck you to those people that you can possibly give. Especially, like, and Pride Month, I know a lot of those people complain about, like, ooh, why do you need a whole month? I don't know. Why does the military need a whole month? Why do black people need a whole month? Because there's a reason behind it. Because there's people who celebrate that kind of stuff. Like, people will celebrate the military for a whole month. People will celebrate Black History for the entirety of February and stuff. There's months for everything. And there's also, like, different months stacked on to one another. Like June, Pride Month, also Men's Mental Health Awareness. There's all kinds of stuff. You can celebrate multiple things at the same time for, well, that's the thing. And you don't have to dedicate a whole month to this kind of stuff. Like, Pride isn't just about, Pride is a lifestyle. Pride is, how people live their life. And just, I'm rambling again, but the basic of it is just be proud of who you are and fuck what anyone else has to say. And have yourself a goddamn happy Pride Month. And I think with that, I'm going to close off this episode. This is kind of just a rambly episode, but this is kind of to help me kind of get back into the swing of things and, get everything back on track. And hopefully I can actually sleep properly again. But if you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on here, like I said, in the description is the link to the link tree, and in the link tree, on the little branches of the link tree, there's all the socials and whatnot. And I think with that, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed this little peek into my life. I hope you guys are doing well out there, because, seriously, I love you guys. Any support you show this podcast is great, and if you want to share this around, hey, go ahead and share it around, tell them, like, hey, there's this idiot that likes to ramble on the internet with his wife, you should listen to it. But yeah, just spread the word of Nerdsplosion, and I hope you guys are doing really well out there. I've been Cameron, and as always, I will see you in the next episode. Nerd out.